Welcome to the Amplify to Seven Figures podcast, where we look inside the mind of seven-figure entrepreneurs to see how they amplify their business and amplify their life. Let's welcome today's guest. Welcome to the Amplify to Seven Figures podcast. Today's guest has never had a job. He's actually the internet multimillionaire guy next door, and he founded the only licensed dedicated internet marketing school in the country. He is the subject of a Hollywood documentary. Yes, we've got a Hollywood star on here. The American Entrepreneur, premiering in summer 2021. He is the host of Screw the Commute podcast. Please welcome to the show, Tom Antion.
Hey.
How you doing, Tom?
Oh, I'm screwing the commute like I do every day. I've done screwed the commute for 44 years at formerly in business. So,
Wow.
Now I did actually apply for a job one time.
Right.
See, I saw it said 401k. And I thought, man, that's a really good starting salary, $401,000. I didn't get it.
I love it. So Tom, just jumping in, once people find a system or a process or a skill that just works for them, it makes a big difference. And something that I've heard from you, once that money starts coming in, you can't really stop it coming into the checking account, even if you tried. So just tell us a little bit about that. You seem to just be able to jump on something and make money out of it. How does that work?
Well, the idea behind that, it sounds pretty outrageous that I couldn't stop the money, but it's really true. And when I tell you how it works, it'll make perfect sense. So a lot of people understand the concept of affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing is where I recommend your product, and if somebody buys it, you get a commission. But the next level of that is called residual affiliate marketing. So this is where you promote something once and then you get paid as long as the other party keeps using it. So I've been doing that consistently for years, and I could have quit a long time ago and have $300,000, $400,000 coming in a year and just quit and sell everything and do nothing. And that's basically affiliate marketing. And one of the mechanisms that I use to generate the affiliate commissions are ebooks. And so I've got one ebook that took me about 4 hours to write in a layover at McCarran Airport. I remember vividly, in Las Vegas. And as of this morning, it's brought in $3.64 million and anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 a month ongoing. And that's because I teach you how to do something in the book, but you can't do it unless you have the tool, and the tool you pay either yearly or monthly. And I keep getting paid. So I promoted it once, but I get paid forever. So that's the idea.
So is that when we're talking about tools and stuff, is that like a software, or is it?
Oh yeah, and it's a shopping cart system that I've been promoting for 19 years, and I use myself. It's called Kickstart Cart. But it can be on any kind of, there's actually a website, residualaffiliateprograms.com, that gives you all kinds of options of things, supplements and hosting and just all kinds of software products and services that you can get paid over and over and over again. So it's something some people should concentrate on.
That's phenomenal. And if you were starting again now, would you say it would be as easy to do that? Because obviously, if you've been promoting that for 19 years ago, if you're trying to build a list of leads, it was significantly cheaper than it is nowadays. So would you say those same things apply, or is it slightly different?
Same things apply. A lot of the things have changed, of course, but there's certain things that you can do. I write ebooks on these topics, but for instance, I wrote an ebook on how to be in front of 1 million warm prospects in the next 90 days. And it comes from joint venturing with people that have blazed the trail in front of you. But the problem is that most people come to a guy like me or somebody like you that's got a big list, and they don't know what to say. And we have to say, take a hike, because we know that they don't know what they're doing. But if you know what to say, guys like me and other big list owners want to monetize our list. but there's a whole bunch of things that you need to know about before you come and take your shot. And I can give you some of them now if you'd like.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Yeah. So if you come to me with the wrong product, first, it's instantaneous no, because if I promote your wrong product to my list, you don't realize this, but I'm going to get cussed out in 18 languages and 5,000 people are going to unsubscribe in 6 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
So it has to make sense. I mean, people come to me all the time. So, I have this parenting product, Tom, and most of your hundreds of thousands of people are parents. Well, yeah, but they're not on my list because they're parents. And so that's not going to work. Second thing is you got to come with something that makes enough money for both of us. There's enough money involved. So if you come to me with your $9 ebook or $7 ebook and say, I'll give you 50%, Tom, I'm like, take a hike. You don't understand my world. I get sometimes a $2,000 commission for some things that I promote. So no, I have to, that's not going to work. And then you can't make me your guinea pig. So if you come to me and you say, hey, I got this new ebook for you, Tom, it's perfect for you. Maybe it is, all right? But I'll say, okay, well, what's your conversion rate on your sales letter? And if you're like the old Elmer Fudd from the cartoons, like, I don't know what you're talking about, then let's take a hike. I'm not going to be your guinea pig and test out your sales letter and lose, because every time I mail, I'm going to lose subscribers not because they don't like me or didn't like that promotion. It's just, it's too much for a lot of people that aren't marketers. They just can't stand all the email. And so it's got to be something that makes sense for my audience, has enough money involved, and you have tested your sales letter. But people say, well, gee, I have no list. How am I going to test it? That's where you take the time to learn paid advertising. There's plenty of bargains out there now. You have YouTube in-stream ads are one of the best bargains on earth. You have Amazon sponsored ads are extremely cheap. You have the other one's very specific. It's a video story ad in Instagram sending people to your profile. So anytime you send people internally to the platform, it's way cheaper. And then you can take them from your profile to wherever you want. So you got to come to me with some figures. And even if the figures aren't great, at least you don't get canceled instantly because you're asking me to be your guinea pig. That's just a fraction of the things. But if you do all the things right, people like me want you to come, but only 1 out of 20 come properly and know what to say and what to do to get their deal. But if you take the time to learn that, guys like me can put you on the map forever. Okay, so it's worth learning how to joint venture. So yes, you can do it now. You just have to know more, because it's harder to get people to subscribe. And when I first started, people would subscribe if you said, I got this great pile of dog poop, you want to sign up for it? Oh yeah, we'll sign up for it.
7 secrets to great dog poop. Right. That's it's really interesting how the psychology behind that works as well. And like you say, sometimes people overcomplicate the whole process. I've seen some people as well, when it comes to JVs, go, hey, I just want to build that list up front, so I'll give you 100% commission. Do you get some people come to you and just say, listen, I just want to get a list of buyers, so I'm happy to give you 100% commission? Does that ever come up?
Yeah, it comes all the time, but it still doesn't pass all the other tests.
No,
it's not
that's more important. Yeah,
100% commission of nothing if your sales letter doesn't convert. And if it's still the wrong product and I lose, see, every subscriber costs you one way or the other. No matter how you got them, it's either money or time or, blogging for the rest of your life to try to get 2 people, so every time I mail, I'm going to lose so many, and it has to make enough to replace them and make a profit, or it's not worth it. So no, 100% profit is not the only factor that would interest me. Not even close.
Okay, cool. I love that. And what's interesting, when you go to Screw the Commute site, you've got some interesting ventures on there, shall we say? especially when you go a bit further down the page. And you were just telling me about your German Shepherds. So how do you go ahead and make hobbies and family interests like actually tax deductible?
Yeah, I've been teaching this forever. In most developed countries, when you're in business, your business expenses are tax deductible. Well, especially in the United States, it's about as easy as it can be to start a business. You just file a Schedule C at the end of the year and you're in business. You don't have to have a corporation, LLC, anything. So let's take, for example, I'm a tennis nut. All right. And now I have the dubious distinction of being the largest person ever to create and star in a tennis training video. It's called fatsotennis.com.
Wow.
You can see it. It's the trailer of the video is me playing tennis while I'm eating pizza. So
It's a pattern interrupt, if nothing else.
right. But tennis is expensive. The rackets are a couple $100. You got to have a PhD to pick what strings you want. And the ball machine was at $1,800, and my tennis courts, maintenance, all this stuff. So I created a DVD. Part of it's funny on how fat guys like me can run you little skinny guys to death before we drop dead. And part of it is real in the angles of the court and the shots that young people aren't used to, so that we have a chance to beat younger and faster people. So it's real. It's a $40 DVD set. And so by having that for sale, that makes all my tennis stuff tax deductible legitimately. And I've checked this. I'm not an attorney or an accountant, but I've had thousands of them in my audiences and in my programs. And they say, oh yeah, that's a typical thing. So let's take a typical family that likes camping. Well, camping's expensive and they're paying for it through the nose after tax dollars. So all you have to do is you can make a world-class website if you know what you're doing for $150. I mean, a WordPress with a nice responsive theme and you're in business. And then you don't have to create a camping product, but you could review camping products for commissions. And as soon as you make some money, as long as you make enough money, you can't bring in 2 cents and spend $50,000 because the IRS in the US will call it a hobby. But if you're bringing in money and you're legitimately spending stuff and reviewing it and things, and eventually people will start sending you stuff for free to review, so that's basic how it works. And it works for any kind of hobby or family interest.
And interestingly on that, one of our clients, so they did exactly what you do, right? They recommend a software, and then that software company then has got a dream car affiliate process, which it's not ClickFunnels. It's another thing. I know ClickFunnels has been famous for that, but so they got a $175,000 RV for free.
Exactly. I mean, I've won motorcycles and all kinds of affiliate contests, but I prefer the cash. I like 3.64 million. And every time I wake up, more money is coming from just that one program. So
if someone needed to make money right now, what would be and we're not advertising get rich quick, because it's about get rich in the long term.
I think exactly. This will,
if someone, yeah, go ahead.
I think this will surprise you.
Yeah.
It surprises most people because I'm supposed to be Mr. Big Shot Internet Guru guy. eBay is, you can have money coming in tomorrow with no website and clean your basement out at the same time. And I want to tell you about this because I grew up very frugal. My dad came from Syria on a cattle boat in the early 1900s. We reused stuff. I always had to straighten nails out and reuse them out of used lumber. And that's the way I grew up. So I grew up very frugal. And so I still am. I buy stuff off of eBay and OfferUp and all these Facebook marketplace. But I bought something off of eBay and the guy was local. It was a tool. So I went over to his house and he had this beautiful house and he had this $500,000 motorhome out front. He comes to the door dressed nicely and he invites me in to go down to his shop to look at this tool I'm going to buy. So we go in, go downstairs and down the hallway towards his shop. And everything, Paul, to this point was normal. Okay. And then I'm going into his shop and I look over. The whole ceiling of his basement was covered with hundreds hundreds of ladies' bras. So I'm thinking, oh my God, this guy lures people in and kills them and hangs their underwear out. I'm thinking all these things. So so I go in and I'm watching him like a hawk, and I buy the tool and we're talking like nothing's happening, right? And so we're on the way out, and of course I stay behind him on the way out because I don't want to get an axe in my head or something. And I say, I got to ask you, man, what's all these bras hanging up in your ceiling? And he says, oh, my daughter goes to all these thrift stores. She knows all the sizes, and she picks them up, repairs them, cleans them up, and sells them on eBay. I said, oh, no kidding. $200,000 a year she makes selling used bras on eBay. Okay. And I'm thinking to myself, man, darn it. If I hung around the thrift store bra department, I'd probably get arrested. So I can't do that idea.
Not a niche that maybe is the best idea for a middle-aged man to go into, but
200,000 a year. Then this other lady I know from California, she was a single mom, still does this, takes 80 to $100 every Saturday to yard sales or flea markets, we call them sometimes. And if you go to eBay, right next to the search box, there's a little tiny link that says advanced search. And if you click on it, there's all kinds of other parameters. And if you click the box that says completed listings only, it will show you all the auctions in the past 90 days on the product you're looking at, and whether they sold or not, and how much they sold for. So she would go 80 to $100 every Saturday to flea markets. And let's say she'd see one of these nice Tonka metal dump trucks. It's a real nice quality toy for $5. She'd go on eBay, it's selling for 50. So she'd buy it. If it was selling for 50 at the yard sale and selling for 5 on eBay, she wouldn't buy it. So she did this every Saturday. And the rest of the week, she just put the auctions up and sell the stuff. She was clearing $1,100 a week to support her and her kids as a single mom on eBay. All that's still totally available today. Now, I don't really like physical stuff for going to, I like going to flea markets, but I don't want to make a business out of it. I'm all selling electrons nowadays. Right? But so that's a way that you can make money fast with no website. There's a dozen ways you can make it. You have Etsy, you have a Cafe Press and Zazzle that have millions of products where you can put your graphics on. They'll give you a store for free, and all you have to do is send people to it and get a commission with no inventory. There's loads of ways you can make it without any website or any investment.
And do you think, you mentioned earlier Facebook Marketplace, do you think that's something now that a lot more people are using, like eBay, and going,
OfferUp, I think, is a little more popular, but the thing is I buy stuff of those all the time. I see guys on the weekends sitting with massive these places where you're storage facilities, packed full to the ceiling with stuff, and I show up to buy something, the phone is ringing off the hook. They're making full-time living doing this. Now, again, I don't want to deal with physical products anymore. The most I have physical is some DVDs still selling, but anybody can do this. If they don't know where to turn, that's all possibilities for it. And you can get stuff for free. You go on Craigslist, people give away stuff for free that's totally nice. They have to move or whatever. I got one of my students, he goes with his pickup truck and picks up washers and dryers and bookcases and furniture that's beautiful and just resells it on Craigslist. So it's all doable. It's not my internet stuff that I teach mostly, but it's if somebody needs money, there you go.
It's the same with charity shops as well. I mean, we always used to have this philosophy of charity shops. And,
charity shops. So yeah, we call them thrift stores or something.
Yeah. It's because my English heritage. But a lot of the time I used to be a musician, and I always buy everything secondhand, and then I sell it for the same price that I bought it for. So it's basically free rental.
That's right. Exactly right. Yeah. And there's a lot of great stuff out there, and some people have more money than brains. They get rid of stuff cheap that would be wonderful for somebody else. So yeah, you can make a full-time living doing that kind of stuff.
So let's talk about hiring, because you've got a 7-figure plus business. You made a lot of money online. And one of the biggest pains that people have is like, oh, I've actually got to go and hire a team now. I don't want to do that. But you said you've got a pretty ninja method for hiring people. So
You
tell
have
me,
to
tell me
have,
about that.
yeah, you have to have the stomach to do this. All right. And you can only get away with it in one place, is Craigslist. And I write these really mean, rotten, nasty ads to scare the heck out of people. Right? And so, and so the only ones that'll apply are the ones that you can't scare and that really believe in themselves. So I start off the ad. The first thing I do is I don't want some 55-year-old MBA that can barely turn their computer on to apply. You know, I need young tech savvy people around here. So the title to the ad says paid internship. Tell everybody, write that down. Paid internship. No 55-year-old MBA that's out of work is going to apply for an internship. So I don't have to upset them or, you know, just deal with it.
Yeah.
So but lots of younger people that are all tech savvy will apply for an internship that's paid. All right. So beautiful. I get lots of people. Then the ad says, hey, work for an internationally known internet guru guy, all this, you know, you'll learn all this great stuff, blah, blah, blah. But then when it gets down to after I suck them in with that, it says, and guess what? If you don't take pride in your work and you're a worthless slug, if I don't throw you out of here in 5 minutes, the other good employees will. So don't come over here unless you really care about your work. And so that scares off all the idiots. And then I only get good people applying. And everybody that I've hired that way was here for years, some as many as 13 years.
Wow.
So, and they learned like crazy. I don't expect them to be here forever and get a gold watch like some, you know, 30 years at a corporation. But the time they're here, they did great. I taught them enormous amounts of things and they took off. The first kid that I hired just sold, I think you're standing up to get that good vocal thing, but if you're sitting down, he just sold his third startup and wrote an article in Forbes saying, you know, giving me the credit for making him an entrepreneur. He just sold Pluto.tv for $340 million.
Wow.
To Viacom. It's all, you can search it all out on Intercom. His name is Ilya Posen. I recruited him out of Comp USA, which was a computer store when he was in 10th grade. Worked with him, turned him into an entrepreneur, and he would have just been a corporate slug, that's all he knew. But I taught him how to be an entrepreneur, and that's his third startup. The second one he sold for $6 million, the first for $1.5 million. I said, the next time I see you, you're buying dinner, buddy. He called me from a yacht in Greece with supermodels on the thing. I said, be careful. You don't want to lose that 340 million.
That's amazing. And it's interesting how, like you say, you become the 5 people you surround yourself with the most, right? And have you found that for yourself as well, that you've always surrounded yourself with people who help you be a better person, a better marketer, you know?
Well, I listen to them, but I wouldn't call myself a surround type of person. I'm more of a loner. Now I go to these, and when people hear that have seen me speak and seen me out and about, they were like, what are you lying? Who are you kidding? Because I'm Mr. Big Shot at these big events. And then I'm happy to come home and just sit here by myself with the dogs and work and, you know, do that. So I don't really, I admire people and I learn from those people, but I don't, I'm more of a loner myself. So this business can be for extroverts or introverts. I actually am an introvert by the Myers-Briggs scale, which, like I said, on these interviews, people, you saw me on a bunch of interviews where I got on your show and you say, oh, that was the last thing you'd have probably thought about me, right? Mr. Fatso tennis guy. Yeah. So, but I only play singles. See, I don't play doubles because I don't want to. I don't want 2 people on my side of the court.
Oh yeah, it's like you say, it's interesting. So why do you and this wasn't original on my question, but it's just interesting to know that, do you put yourself in a state then, like, because a lot of introverts obviously are not, they say introverts are really good speakers because they can actually have a lot more empathy than an extrovert, because an extrovert is just all ego based. But do you think you have to put yourself in a certain state to like actually communicate with people instead of being a loner, as you say?
No, no, I'm just, what you see is what you get. I have the ability and I do have a lot of empathy. In fact, so much that I became a consumer advocate. I have a TV show in development called Scam Brigade, and I've written an article called the top 20 seminar scams, which I made fortunes at selling at seminars. The difference, I took care of the people and gave them what they bought. You know, a lot of these sociopaths become speakers, and they just rob people. So scambrigade.com is in development in Hollywood to go after these kinds of people. But no, I'm the same guy on and off. It's just that, you know, I've had enough. When it's a 3-4 day conference, I'm happy to come home and be by myself with the dogs. Yeah. But I have no trouble interacting with people, being empathetic for them. I mean, I've talked to more people out of joining my high program than actually join, because I know if it's not right for them, if they can't operate their computer, they're going to be frustrated. They're giving me a lot of money and they're not going to get success. I don't need the money that bad where I'm going to feel bad and not sleep at night and have people coming after me and bad mouthing me. So I have no trouble with any of this, relating with people in a big way, but I'm happy to be by myself too. I'm lucky, I guess, to have that kind of ability.
The thing that a lot, you know, the thing you only get one of is reputation, like you say. So you never, that's the thing that you can't really repair. So I love the fact that you really look after those people, and it'll be interesting to see on that Scam Brigade what comes out. And that actually leads to our next question is, so how can you make a $50,000 video production about you and your company for only pennies on the dollar?
Okay, yeah, this is something I learned a lot of years ago, and the production that I made that I'm talking about, although I've had over 1,000 videos made, but the one I'm talking about has brought in, we can't say for sure, but about $13 million, and it ended up costing $3,000 to create. So the method is, well, first of all, I had 2 super Hollywood retired people working for me over the years. One was Emmy nominated for a big mini series. The other one worked on the original Star Wars and was a celebrity promo director, and moved away from Hollywood to get out of the craziness and work for me for a while. So I learned a lot of this stuff from them. The one director, he said, Tom, I had 50 people would run, get me a cup of coffee. I had $1 million lighting set, millions of dollars of cameras. He said, and he went like this. He said, this is an acceptable video right now. You know, all this stuff that he had, the super Hollywood, everybody's making fortunes on selfie videos and a cell phone video. They're shooting TV shows on these now. Okay, so the thing is you want to shoot everything about your company, your clients, your testimonials. There's a thing called a 45-degree testimonial. I do a whole course on this, but anyway, it's hard to get testimonials out of people that are camera shy. You know, as soon as you stick the camera in their face, they lock up and they don't know what to do. So you put them at an angle, 45 degrees, and you have somebody else talk to them. So the person off camera says, hey, what'd you like best about Tom's Retreat Center? And they're supposed to repeat that. And then we cut out the other guy's voice. And so they said, what I like best about Tom's Retreat Center was blah, 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 blah. And so the camera is not looking straight at them. It's 45 degrees off, and we get beautiful testimonials first try, pretty much. So that's one thing. And then you edit those into your final production. Then you want to shoot things called candids. Candids are behind the scenes. And even if you do the exact same thing as 50 of your competitors, the other 50 schmucks are not going to show people what you do behind the scenes. If you do, they will say, wow, look what they do behind the scenes to take care of us or to build that product or do whatever. So put candids in there. And then you want to show off any publicity that you've had. So even if it's all been on newspapers and magazines, you do a collage and show that. Or if you've been on TV, put a clip of that in. Then I show my bank statements. I mean, I show the actual bank statements. When you come to the retreat center, you see for years and years and years, all this money coming in. And so that can be put on a video. So you shoot all of this stuff and then you hire an editor. So all that stuff was shot for free. So I found on Craigslist
Seeing a bit of a theme here.
Yeah, a film school graduate just trying to build her resume. She put 200 hours into this at $15 an hour. I ended up $3,000. She had her own computer, everything, and gave me the finished product for $3,000. And it's been used. I give it out at events. It's on DVD. It's on websites, and it makes people join my big mentor program. And so far, it's been about $13 million from that production. And it's 28 and a half minutes long. We played it on least access television. See, in the United States, cable systems are mandated by the government to have a different fee schedule for small creators. And so instead of $760 for a half hour, I paid $120 to have it play on cable TV. So those are kind of things you can do with it. And then we have shorter versions that I give out on DVDs. And when I speak at a big event, it's in my contract that they must give out this DVD and another thing called a magalog, a magazine catalog, at registration. It's in my contract because I'm usually the headliner. And so people get that when they register, go up to their rooms, watch the DVD, come down and buy my stuff before I even speak. So the other speakers don't like it too much, but they could have made one if they wanted to. So having one of these is it's more in depth than these little shorties that you see, and I'm all in favor of all kinds of videos. But having one that's this in depth, like this documentary, is going to be so. I'm so humbled that they approached me about that. But it's going to be an hour-long documentary playing on Amazon Prime and all these places they're making deals with. So it's gives you way more credibility than these short things that are good for certain things. But when you have a whole production about you and your business, that credibility just goes way up.
Yeah, and for anyone who wants to watch that when it comes out, it's called The American Entrepreneur. Is that's right?
Yeah, American Entrepreneur. But the one that I'm talking about now, they can see at greatinternetmarketingtraining.com. You just click on this little monitor and they can see the production that we made for $3,000. That's we had. The reason I call it 50 grand, we had estimates of how much. We got 3 different quotes, and it was from $36,000 to $58,000 estimate to do that, and we did it for $3,000. Yeah,
that's amazing. It's crazy. What I just love the way you think, Tom. I love it.
Frugal.
It's frugal. Exactly. Always going back to those nails, bending those nails out of the lumber.
Yeah.
So Tom, this next question is something we ask every 7-figure entrepreneur on the show, and that is, what do you want to be remembered for when you die?
I want to be remembered for 2 things. Actually, it's one thing. The umbrella would be for helping the underdog. And so I live my life and I stick up for people that are getting scammed. I rescue little selfless animals, helpless animals, little helpless souls. I rescued them. And then the best thing I ever did in my life is I auctioned myself off once, and I raised enough money to feed 288 homeless children for a year. So more things like that. And currently, I've got a pilot program for my school that we are putting 3 to 5 physically disabled people so that they can learn remotely and get hired remotely. And so I'm doing a GoFundMe campaign to help finance that. And we're going to hire a bunch of disabled people to be involved in it. So helping the underdog is probably because I'm strong and I can do it. In fact, I had even though I'm a big fat butt, the doctor said I should have been a Clydesdale horse. Those are those big monster horses. He says, I got people half your age falling apart. He says, and I'm not on any pills or anything. So I was given the strength. I'm going to use it for good.
I love that legacy that you know, and you can see when someone's got a good heart, and you obviously have, and it's nice to see that ripple effect as well, because you'll help someone and then they'll help someone, and
Yeah.
then you just don't know how far that's going to go, which is
Well, I'm
amazing.
basically, you're sitting here talking to my dad because he's the one that instilled everything in me. In fact, see this picture behind me?
Yeah, I was curious about that.
Well, my dad, I don't know if you ever heard of this guy. His name is Johnny Cash. He's a big
I think
country
I've heard of
singer.
him, yeah.
Okay, so he wrote a song called "A Boy Named Sue,"
Mm.
which was a song about an old drunk cowboy that didn't think he'd be around to grow his kid up. So he named him Sue, a female name, to make him fight and scrap and get teased and be tough. All right. So my dad was 50 when he had me, only went to the second grade. And he said, I'm not going to be around to raise this boy, so I'm going to make him be able to overcome obstacles. So from the time I could crawl, he would put my toys on the other side of pillows so that I would learn how to overcome obstacles to get places. And to this day, I'm totally unstoppable. I won't cheat anybody or step on them to get where I'm going. But if you tell me I can't do something, you better get out of the way as I blow by doing it. And for your audience, when somebody tells you that you can't do something, it means absolutely nothing. What it means is they can't do it. It doesn't have anything to do with you. All right. So anyway, that's what that's all about. So and a lot of people say, well, what's your main key to success? Persistence and consistency. You keep fighting and crawling to get where you're going, and you're consistent. People know what to expect from me. They say, okay, if something goes wrong, Tom's going to take care of it. If I go with him, he's going to teach me great things. Consistency over many years, things get easier and easier because that reputation builds and builds. This all comes from my dad, anyway.
And yeah, if you are listening to just the audio version of this, feel free to go and watch the video to see that picture on there as well, and we'll also be having it up on the site. So Tom, that brings us brilliantly into what's one quick win that people can use to amplify their business today.
They need to, no matter what business they're in, they need to put a heavy emphasis on digital products. I don't care if they're landscapers. I don't care if they're an ice cream store and think they can only sell locally. No, they could make an ebook on how to make ice cream cakes and sell it and have money coming in at 97% profit from anywhere that speaks English. And then they could have it translated into other languages. So to add a serious digital portion to your business at 97% profit, and a lot of businesses will stay in business and be more profitable and maybe quit their local business when they do this, because they're figuring, why would I fight with this local stuff when I can bring in money around the world and everybody downloads it? There's no shipping, there's no hassle. So that'd be the heavy emphasis I would suggest for anybody.
And I totally hear you on that. You know, I used to be a wedding singer, and then we created an info product to basically advertise a wedding singing, and then that turned into selling bridesmaids dresses online. And I was like, how did I get here?
Amazing. Yeah. And how to become a wedding singer would be another product, so.
Exactly. So Tom, finally, well, firstly, what seven-figure entrepreneur would you nominate to be on the show, and where can people find out more about you?
Well, I'm not sure of all the people that have been on the show, but of course, John Lee Dumas from Entrepreneur on Fire. I've been on that show a couple times. And Mike Stewart, the internet audio guy, would be great.
Cool.
Yeah, so there's two.
Mike Stewart, yeah, definitely. I know John as well. John's awesome guy, and obviously done quite a lot of interviews himself.
Yeah. Well, lately because of his book. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Definitely. And Tom, where can people find out more about you? I think you've got a giveaway. Is that right?
Yeah. So I've been able to handle up to 150,000 subscribers and 40,000 customers without pulling my hair out. And I wrote a book on how to automate your business and all the tools that I use. And just one of the tools, one in this book that costs about $20, one-time fee, $20, has saved me, we estimated it a couple years ago, 7.5 million keystrokes. It's called a macro program. So, when you're in my position, you get the same questions over and over again. So anytime I get a question more than once, I automate the answer. And so I can just hit 2 keystrokes and type in War and Peace if I wanted to. So this book is full of that stuff, and also cell phone automation tips, all these things. And it's they can pick that up at screwthecommute.com/automate free. Screwthecommute.com/automate free. It's a very good ebook that you can pick any or all of the things. And if you implement them, I'll just say you're welcome right now, because you're going to thank me for it, because it's going to reduce your workload. And it's also going to let you ethically steal customers from people that are too slow to get back. See, I get back to people lightning fast, and the first people that get back frequently gets the money, so good. I hope they make good use of it.
Fantastic, Tom. It has been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. I'm sure I can fill out another 3 or 4 hours. So you've been listening to the Amplify to 7 Figures podcast with me, Paul Ace, and my amazing guest, Tom Antion. You have been amazing. Remember, guys, amplify your business and amplify your life. Bye for now. Thanks for listening to the Amplify to 7 Figures podcast. To access the show notes, episodes, and this month's giveaway, head over to www.amplifyto7figures.com. Remember, amplify your business, amplify your life.